Hello. So welcome to my mess. If you saw one of my recent blooms, you may have heard that I was going to try this again. What a mess. Sorry, my tripod's covered in paint. Anyway, with eliminating the Forbidden Ruin and just using the other colors. But I couldn't do it in that same video because it would have been too long. So this is me giving that a shot. So I'm going to try to do this quickly because the other video was long. And I finished my other tub of pillow paint, so I had to open a new one. Ew, gross. Like paint snot by the lid. Let me go. Okay, so this is a 10-inch MDF. I'm using, who knows what this is. I think this is PPG Multi Pro as my pillow. And I don't want to stir it because it will cause bubbles. But I just decanted it within the last week or so. Uh-oh. All right, so let me show you my colors. Get off this stool, cover up my paint. And some of that's crazy. All right. I'm tempted to use some of what's already on my spinner because it's already so covered, but if we have happen to have like a perfect bloom that has perfect petals and we don't go all the way over the edge, I don't want to have muddy pillow paint. I think that might be expecting a lot, but I believe in miracles. All right, so I'm going to show you my colors as I lay them down. My lighting seems so off right now. Okay, anyway, let me zoom you in a smidge. Okay, sorry about the background. Tiger Lily from Colourarte. We're just going to use that up. Wow, there's a lot of it, a lot more than it looks like. So, oops. I'm like, you're supposed to be part of the puddle. Okay. Be different, it's fine. Okay. So that makes me happy because that's been mixed up a while. You know what's a bummer though is I have so much paint over here and very little over here. Anyway, dark waters. This is a Prism Pour color. Tiger Lily was a primary element. I also think I'm going to use a little bit less shadow green, maybe not even use it, but we'll see. Okay. Right, and I have all my discount codes in the description box below, including the 20% off for Colourarte. Using Mandy 1120, and I use Australian Floetrol in my Cell Activator, and you can save 10% using Mandy 10, all caps, from Pixel Paint Designs. So this is Deep Amethyst. Ooh. Parts of this are perfectly thin, and then parts of it are clumpy, so whatever. We're making it work. Okay. I don't want there to be like an absence of color in the middle, but I don't want it to be too crazy either. All right, I'm gonna drizzle a little bit of the shadow green, but I'm not gonna use as much of it. I can't even see bubbles. I cannot figure out why my lighting seems so off today. All right, shadow green kind of looks army green, but it's a lot nicer as it stretches out. It's kind of strange. So I'm just gonna drizzle it. And then we're gonna use blue black. The shadow green was Holbein, by the way. This is Colourarte Fluid Intense Blue Black. I need more of this already, I use it so much. And I also am using a little bit too much paint. If you saw the last video, I was talking about these beautiful petals you get when you don't use as much paint, and I just still have a really bad habit of doing that. So we'll get through learning one thing at a time. I definitely used a little too much paint. I sped this part up a little bit because I had to voice over this part. So just because I'm about to put my head right in front of the camera anyway. I think I might have figured out what was wrong with my tripod though, which might be helpful for future videos. The colors are so pretty, but there's definitely just a lot of it. Okay, so white Cell Activator. So titanium white with Australian Floetrol. I'm using M-Gram. Amsterdam works. I just like M-Gram. All right. Right in the way, as usual. I did have a lot of trouble blowing this one out because there was so much paint on the surface, and there was a couple parts that were difficult. You'll see in a second when I move my big old head. But it does turn out pretty different than what I was going for. Isn't that always the case? You know, you set out to do one thing and it turns out completely different. So you can see how long it's taking me to blow it out. That's because I'm having a lot of trouble and I'm trying to save it. So if you hear me folding laundry in the background, that's what I'm doing while I do this voiceover. So hopefully it was worth all the effort, but that shouldn't have taken that long. Okay, I'm really lightheaded and I really have some funky parts that need to be fixed. And you know, it's not looking at all like I thought it was gonna look. This is a mess over here. I am covered in paint. We started off okay, and now this is just not quite going well. And I don't know if it's gonna be okay. So, let's see. gonna have any of those pretty petals. There's a lot about this that I don't like. Okay, we're gonna slide it over because it's off center. And let's just see what happens. There's a buttload of paint on here. I have this weird block of purple in the center that I don't feel like we should have. I think it's how I blew it somehow. So that's weird. So let's move this back over here. I mean, it looks like a Mardi Gras pour. That was not what I was going for. But push this back over here. I want to get that weird block of color where it didn't spin out very well. Going bigger is hard. It's like I feel like I make progress and then I can't wait to bloom. And then I have a difficult night. I think I just flung paint everywhere. But, you know, it's part of the process. So parts of it are really pretty and parts of it we're seeing what we want to see. I still want this gone. So that's why I haven't moved it yet. Unfortunately, the more I spin at this point, the more you might have just wonkiness. I want this one little hook part off the edge. And I probably could fix it by putting some paint on it, but I don't really trust my ability to do that. I'm not like the master embellisher when it comes to blooms. Okay, so I'm so covered in paint that literally everything I try to do. So what's on the edge now is this over here, which I'm perfectly happy with. So what I want off is this right here. So I'm going to take a chance on that. Problem is I have so much, that's exactly what I was afraid of. Oh, I have so much paint on here that I was really nervous about that. And I grabbed it and messed up the side all at the same time. Well, I mean, there's a lot about it I like, but I don't know if we can save it now. Okay. And foolishly, and it's almost like I saw it happening. I might be able to, it's very volatile. There's so much paint on my spinner. And that's not even the part that I don't want. The part I don't want is over here. Yeah, that's the second time in 2 weeks I've had a canvas go flying off my spinner, and that doesn't happen to me very often, but it's always when my canvas is super wet. And this may be one of those times where I'm obsessing over something that is inconsequential to the bloom as a whole. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to cover up this white spot. And you would think it was like an act of Congress. And the really terrible thing is the part that got messed up and the fly off was actually a kind of a pretty part. I'm gonna see if I can't guide it a little bit more. I'm probably messing up my composition worse. This is actually a really pretty bloom. It's just not what I had in mind. It's been overstretched because of obviously this, but under resin this will be really quite beautiful. And the things that I'm obsessing up over here are probably not going to be that noticeable. Even the part that I grabbed with my hand, if you didn't see it happen, I don't know that you would realize that's what happened. So I'm just trying to make sure that I fix it well enough. I guess it's an untinted Mardi Gras colored bloom. I don't know. Man, I'm not gonna kick it to the curb. It was just not what I had in mind. That block of color, I kind of blew some of it off. It didn't really help a lot, but it made me think it did. I like how the tiger lily has formed into like a gold, covered in paint, just covered. My shirt's covered in it. This is overstretched, so it's going to be like, but there's some really beautiful lacing and cells in here and here. So, you know, like, is it worth keeping? Probably. It's pretty shallow right here. I keep trying to find a way to fix it, but I think it's just going to have to be. I love how this looks goldish as it stretches out. This is, the center's pretty barren because of being stretched so much. But if I look at the whole picture, I think it's beautiful. Obviously, this deep amethyst and the dark waters are beautiful together. So it's, I'm not gonna call it a nailed it, but I like it. It's not what I was going for at all. I was going for like what you see here. And I think I just need to accept the fact that right now I'm focusing on the blow, not necessarily as much the composition and the wispy cells and all that. I need to work on using less paint. That's a work on. This right here is gorgeous. Let me bring you down. All right, so this part is the part I was fighting with. This part is the part that I grabbed with my hand. The whole picture is nice, I think. My camera's flipping around. My favorite parts are right there, even right over here. Is it a masterpiece? No, but I do think it's pretty. So let me know what you think, and thanks for hanging out and bearing with me. And sorry that this close-up is upside down.